everyone, welcome to Rolling with Two. I'm Will, and with me as always is the one who's always geared up for gaming,
Sarah.
And today we're doing a two-player perspective and accessibility for Motor City. Sarah, tell us a bit about this game.
All right, Motor City is a strategic roll and write game about running an auto plant in the heyday of Detroit. Each player has 2 sheets that contain various departments that they will work in, including testing, production, engineering, and sales. What you gain from one department will often help you in another department. After 8 rounds, each player tallies up their score, and whoever has the highest points wins.
No, it gets the promotion.
Oh, the thematics of it is you get the promotion, which is winning.
Yes.
Case. In this case. In most cases, a promotion is usually a good thing.
Yeah, unless it comes with just more responsibility and a bigger title.
All right, Will, what are the changes for a 2-player?
So for 2 players, the number of dice that are used and the colors of dice that are used changes.
Now it's the changes on all player counts.
Right. So 2 players will have a specific setup for 2 of this die, 2 of this die, 1 of this die, because there's 3 different colors of dice.
Correct.
And there is no nanobot. In fact, nanobot only shows up in the solo player where he takes on Emma, the auditor.
Auditor Emma.
Yes. Auditor Nanoman Emma. Yes.
All right. So looking at how it plays 2-player, what are some of the issues?
The rule book is
No, we're talking about 2 players. So
skills yes.
plays a factor in this. And as we found out, luck can kind of exacerbate it. So it can feel kind of swingy if one person is grokking it more than the other, and then that person just happens to get really good dice that really help them with their rolls.
Yeah, and a lot of the skill comes with player familiarity.
Right.
So an old player versus a new player, the old player will know certain things that are better to do first versus second, as well as how to plan out their strategy.
And where things are on the sheets.
Yes. And that we found plays also a very big role.
Yes.
In what you do.
Now, what it does well at the 2-player count is, other than drafting dice, there's no player interaction. So there's nobody to really mess up your plans other than that initial die drafting. But you will always have a choice when you draft. And even when you're the last player, you're making a decision based on, well, you're going to get both those dice. But what do you want everybody to get versus what do you want to get?
Right.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's still an important choice. And it does play faster at 2 players.
Yes, because each player isn't simultaneous. You actually have to take your turn. With it only being 2 players, it goes by pretty fast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, accessibility. Now we can talk about the rule book not being so great currently. They are working on it. They've been asking for feedback. So as of the posting of this, of the recording of this, hopefully sometime soon, they will have an updated rulebook on Board Game Geek. So if you haven't had a chance to play it, or even if you've played it and you wanted to get a chance at looking at a hopefully clearer rulebook, go to Board Game Geek and look for Motor City.
Yeah, I will say a lot of the issues that came up were they didn't give enough context.
Yeah.
And that's where it fell apart, because they'll start talking about something and you're like, huh, what is that?
Yeah, where is that?
Where is that? What is that? Where is that? Who is that?
Right. There was just not a lot of clarity or close-up examples, and I think it could have benefited from going through the different areas on the sheets. I hate to draw, a comparison, but Hadrian's Wall, since it's so complex, the rule book is pretty much teaching you how to play by going through each sheet, each section in order. I think Motor City doesn't necessarily need that, but having a overview of this is what this part of the sheet is called, and this is what you're going to be doing, like a couple sentences.
Or a section just to reference.
Yeah.
When it starts talking about something else, you can look at your reference, go, oh, it's right there.
Right. So that
I understand.
Yeah, that would have helpful. The next issue that we kind of had is there's a big cognitive overload. Once you get past the rules, your actions and choices are all front loaded in the beginning of your turn, which is just different than some of the other games and some of the other games in this line of loaded roll and writes.
Yeah, we have a lot of opinions on this, so make sure to check out the Rolling with reviews of this Motor City for more details on that. But yeah, up front, everything you do is right at your fingertips. And it's the back end of the game that then narrows out.
Right.
So trying to learn and understand everything right from the get-go, turn one, is just a lot to ask for, especially with a game that's, you know, like a crunchy roll and write like this. There is a lot to consider.
Right. And your initial action, this is what kind of tripped me up. And again, like you said, we'll talk about it more in the review portion, but your turn consists of 3 parts, and the first part is not much of a choice. You just do a thing. And the second one, you have 3 choices there. So not only are you having 3 parts to your turn, but then you have this middle section where you have 3 choices there. And I don't know if it was just me in my brain, but I had trouble where I kept confusing that second step with the third step. And it's just because you kind of repeat what you're doing, but maybe not. So it just, like I said, getting down the order of operation and what exactly you can do at each step was just a bit much to figure out.
Well, like you were saying, with one of the 3 choices, one of those choices is an exact copy of what you do in your third step.
Yeah.
Of course, there are limiting factors.
Yeah.
Your little auditor comes and does block things, but it blocks things for all players. So Nana Man Emma is always there.
Yeah. Moving on, graphic design, I would say most of it is fine, graphic design wise. But the sales department really confused me, and it's because the cars are really big and bold. So it's the first thing you see in the sales department is these rows of cars. And it's hard to see anything else. Even the fact that in between the car rows are little rows of circles, which is what you fill in when you're tracking money. But there's only a single icon on the left side that shows the money. So it took...
That's what you circle, and then when you use it, you fill it in.
But the fact is, it took me a while to connect that that's where you tracked money. Because all I saw was cars, and when it was talking about you need to write down tracking your money, I didn't see a money track. Because it's a car track. And then on top of that, there's bonus icons every, $5th that you circle? And those icons are over the cars, but there's a...
Semi-transparent.
Yeah, semi-transparent background behind the icon over the car, but all of it just muddles together that it's really hard to see most of them, of what they are. So again, just poor graphic design choices. Cars should have been more muted, and the tracks bigger and bolder, and the icons easier to see.
Yes.
So this is a minor thing. This next thing is the blueprint board. It's coded by color, but it's kind of hard to associate. So your dice are gray, white, and blue. But the rows, the gray row looks green because it's kind of like gray over a blue background. And then the white row looks light blue because it's white over blue. And then the bottom row is blue because it's blue on blue. I mean, I understand the whole blueprint thing to it, but it just looking at it immediately, the color didn't quite match. The good news is left-hand side, they show the die. So there's a gray die for the gray row and a white die and then blue die. So if you look at that, you can get oriented pretty quickly.
Yes. Then everything's small.
Everything is small, but this is an issue with almost any crunchy roll and write just because they're trying to pack so much on a sheet. But just note, this is another one of those where you're probably either going to be bending over the table to look at it or picking up your sheet to bring it to your face.
Yeah. And combined with that, they use letters for certain things. There's crates and there's tires.
Yeah.
And a letter like the A crate is going to be in 2 places because you have to get it from one place to get the benefit from it in a different place. Those are kind of hard to find.
Yeah. Now, the tires are actually relatively easy to see because they're big, bold, black round circles. They look like tires, and there's only 3 of them. But if you're looking,
there's 4.
Maybe there's 4. Maybe there's 4. But if let's just say you're looking for A, there's not too many of them, so you can find them relatively quick. Crates, though, there's a lot of crates. I Did it go up to like F?
At least.
I think it went up to at least F. They're color coded, which is kind of good, kind of bad. Like I didn't see the yellow one for a long time till I actually found the letter, because then the letter was black and it was bold and you could kind of see that. So the combination of these icons being small and having to find specific letters and not knowing exactly where they were, and then even when you found them, remembering.
Yeah.
Especially when you're juggling so many things and what you're trying to do. So, yeah.
Yeah, because like this crate is on this test track, and all these crates and tires all relate to what are in the production area, the production hubs. So that's where one set of them is going to be, is one of these hubs, and there's like 8 of those hubs.
Yeah.
And then the other ones are spread out. Some are in the tracks, some are in the engineering, some are...
I think that's the only 2 places, but it's still...
Was there any in the sales? I don't think there was any in the sales.
No, there's none in the sales and there's none in the research.
Yeah, but trying to remember, this crate is in this track at this space.
Yeah, and even if you know it's in the engineering section, it's like, well, which column of engineering? Because there's like 6 of those.
Yes.
So...
And 3 tracks.
And 3 tracks. So there is quite a bit to keep track of.
Yes.
All right. What it does well is most of the icons are distinct. Other than just having trouble finding specific, like crates and tires, I never got confused between any of the icons. And they're all, yeah, like I said, pretty visible. Yeah, things are still small, but pretty easy to see.
Yeah, a car is testing, a wrench is engineering, or was
no,
that production?
That was production.
That was production. Engineering was the
gear on the paper.
Yes,
yeah.
That was engineering, and then the sales tag was for sales department. And then you have a speedometer.
Yeah. Everything, like I said, everything was pretty unique.
Yes.
And when all else fails, it is open information. So if you're having trouble seeing something, finding something, hopefully someone else at the table can help you with that.
Yes. I think the best way to play it is with an experienced player and go, okay, give me help.
Yes, pretty much. All right, conclusion. So, Will, for 2 players.
For 2 players, you have to keep in mind that the skill level will change how you experience the game.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind your first few games being completely unbalanced, especially if you have players with different skill levels, until both players can kind of equalize out,
right?
Then you're okay with it. But if you know you have an immediate negative reaction to, well, they just blew me out of the water, I don't ever want to play this game again.
Yeah, because here's the other problem is you can kind of tell relatively early on if you're doing well or not. Even though there's no score kept over the course of things, although you do write down your speedometer score every round, you can kind of tell if someone's upgrading all their departments and you're not. You can kind of feel like, I just filled in 1 square and they're like, I filled in 3. Yeah, that's gonna be an obvious difference.
That actually happened in our first game. Sarah felt like, yeah, you're doing everything and I'm not. And sure enough, when we tallied up the score, she had 50, I had 75.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty substantial difference.
Yep. For accessibility, this one, I would have to say mostly yes. I think, especially when they get the revised rule book posted, because that's really the hardest part, is learning the rules. It's just, again, the examples needed to be clearer and just more specificity. But even then, just there's a little bit of cognitive challenge on learning how the steps go of your turn and keeping them all straight. And there's small icons. So there are some small accessibility challenges. It's just they could be critical for some people.
Yes. We took a really long time trying to decipher the rules. Once we finally did and got to playing it, I don't think this is a very tough game to play.
Once you get it, and get your turn going, and especially once you get into the game, like you said previously, and we'll talk about this more in the review video, you have fewer and fewer choices, relatively speaking, because you need to stay focused to keep your efficiency engine going, or at least if you're trying to build that efficiency engine. So it actually becomes easier the longer you play because you have fewer meaningful choices that will actually help you.
Yes.
All right.
All right, that will do it for us. And Sarah,
Yes.
in your car manufacturing facility, what type of car were you building?
I don't know. I would think, electric cars, definitely, because we have to be ecological. Like, what about you?
I was doing a random one where you have to roll the dice and see what happens. And if you roll too poorly, it blows up.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
And why would you ever roll with just one when you can be rolling with two? And remember, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach out to us on the various social media platforms at
Rolling with Two. That's TWO. We are on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And on YouTube, please like and subscribe.
And if you have time, check out the other content Nanaman has found for you, because remember, he's rolling with you.